Hey, we're going to be taking a first look at the most hated game dev. This is by Sir W. We haven't watched the video yet, so we don't know if it's worth the subscribe button, but Sir W made a video on the world's most hated game dev, which I believe is on Neil Druckmann, my least favorite director. I do not like, at least I didn't like The Last of Us 2. I thought it was an awful game. I don't like the direction his writing took for The Last of Us TV show. I thought the first season was garbage. I know a lot of people said the first season was good. I didn't like it. Oh, they made a video about me. Nah, DOSman, you're like the most loved, DOSman from DOSman Games is in chat. You're like the most loved game dev. You're an indie darling, but I do not like Neil Druckmann. I think he's a talentless hack. I thought the first season of The Last of Us was way overrated and actually garbage. But let's get into this. Let's see what this guy has to say.
The year's 2025 and the gaming world is at war. On one side, the general public, who doesn't get what the big deal is.
If there truly are people that are dropping off of the show, they're cowards.
They didn't like strong women. They don't like
I hate this, dude. Right away I hate this. Oh, I hate this. If you really like Last of Us TV show, you like strong women, the gay people. You don't like gay people? Well, how don't you like the gay people? It's just like clips of a bunch of like douches being douches. Like, come on, dude. This is my problem with like The Last of Us Season 1. Because they knew exactly what they did by the third episode where they had like the gay love story thing, which is a good episode. Don't get me wrong, the episode in itself is a good episode. When you look at it in context of the whole show, they turned a character that was incredibly crucial to the story, who had like real banter with the main characters, was like helped the main characters get from point A to point B. Without him, they would not been able to proceed, and they reduced him to a filler arc. They reduced him to a filler arc. I'm sorry. You could be like, oh, well, it's so, oh my god, dude. Oh, it's so great. No, shut up, dude. And it's like, God, dude. Well, I mean, I do very much dislike the dog piling on Bella Ramsey. I mean, yeah, I get it. I get she gets a lot of flack because she's kind of got a weird looking face. And that's like not fair. It's not like she was born with a weird, like, it's not like she chose to be born with a weird looking face. I mean, that's look at me. I'm a scrumble rumble man, and I know a lot of people think I'm ugly. But here's the thing, dude. For me, what annoyed me, if you look up The Last of Us Season 2, right? Like, let me pull up The Last of Us Season 2. And this is just more of a problem with casting than anything else. I don't think Pedro Pascal was a good fit for Joel either. To be honest, I really never saw him as a good Joel. And I don't hate Pedro Pascal. I'm a little sick of him, but Last of Us Season 2. I didn't watch Last of Us Season 2. I didn't like the second game. I thought the second game was dog water. I think, so the first game was written by two different people, right? There was two different people who wrote the first game. There was, Neil Druckmann and another guy, and the other guy basically was there to say, listen, buddy, your writing sucks, and we need to focus this a little more. Focus it a bit more, compadre. And the dude just kept not focusing it, and so he just took over the reins, and that pissed off Neil Druckmann. So Neil Druckmann went around and was like, I don't like you anymore. And the other guy just dipped. He was like, I don't need this drama. So he dipped. And the second game has the piss poor same writing as the first season of The Last of Us show. The writing is all over the place in the first season of The Last of Us show. It's a bunch of and then writing, right? They named peanut butter after you because you're so smooth. No, dude, I'm more like chunky peanut butter. But like this chick right here, I like her. I've always liked her. She used to be on she was on a TV show with Tim the Toolman. But she would have been a perfect Ellie. She would have, like, and for The Last of Us, she would have been perfect. But, like, she's way better in that role than Bella Ramsey. I'm sorry, Bella Ramsey isn't even a good actress. She was kind of annoying in the first season. So, I think that, the sad thing is, I think the chick that they got to play Abby is and she's a poor cast for Abby as well. Like, if we're going to go off of casting, because, like, it's funny with The Last of Us, because of how much virtue signaling is written into The Last of Us games, and Last of Us, Last of Us, yeah, she wasn't justified and she was amazing. But like in The Last of Us show, how much virtue signaling and like political BS is put into it that if you criticize this, unlike every other game IP, Unlike every other game, like movie, TV show, this one doesn't get hit with this is terrible casting. Like, I don't get it. I feel like because of the virtue signaling that goes along with it, it gets a lot of, it's just like the second game. The second game has piss poor writing. Take away all the woke crap that, like, the quartering likes to goon to. Put all that to the side, and you just look at the game itself and its writing structure, it's dog shit.
lesbian.
And on the other side, gamers.
Well, the attacks on gamers are just beginning.
The wokest episode in television history.
At the center stands Neil Druckmann.
And all I'll say is at the end of the day, you're way less important. And some of you are not important at all. It's laughable. We send it to each other as jokes some of the time.
The beta male, the male feminist.
A once universally respected visionary. Now, the most divisive.
I don't think he did such heavy lifting. So there's this thing there's this thing when you start looking at like comics and game studios, anything in the entertainment industry, there's always going to be that one guy that does stuff. He does do stuff, and he's talented, of course, but he's the most vocal person out of the entire group, right? So there's all these like super great creative leads, and then there's just one guy that just yammer jams the most and like overinflates his own importance, and everybody like contributes all the success of the company to that guy.
Figure in gaming.
This is hilarious.
Without crediting the other people do. And that's like the thing about the first Last of Us game. The first Last of Us game was it was co-written. It wasn't fully written by Neil Druckmann, and I feel like that gets forgotten a lot.
Yes, I saw this on Reddit.
I'm gonna kill your kid in front of you. How vile.
Turning a game studio known for only making classics into one that only makes remasters and news headlines.
This to me does feel actually disrespectful, and I mean that legitimately.
And to think that it all started with an idea he had in college.
Oh, dude, Dreamcast guy sucks. I don't know what his video was about there. I just don't like him. I think he's a cringe goblin person.
It's 2004, and Neil needs to pitch a zombie game to the father of zombie movies, George Romero.
We had a school project where we had to pitch game ideas to George Romero.
So the idea was for this kind of
billion-dollar brand.
Oh, dude. The pitch he had seems way cooler than the first game. The first game's good. Don't get me wrong. I really like the first game, but
protecting a young girl. In the game, the player switches between the two characters to force empathy.
I pitched it to George, and he hated it. So I just sat on it.
After getting a job as a programmer at the game studio Naughty Dog, he continues to work on these ideas in the background. Until Naughty Dog promotes Neil, along with Uncharted 2 director Bruce Straley, to direct
this guy. This guy is the guy that told Neil that his writing was all over the place and they needed to focus this. This is the guy. This guy has good writing structure. This is an idea guy, which is good to be an idea guy. But an idea guy doesn't know how to create a great story all the time. Sometimes they just have a good idea. They know how to build like the idea of a story. They don't know how to like simplify it and make it perfect from point A to point B. And I feel like this guy always did.
A new project.
Our task was to reboot Jak and Daxter.
We started to realize that it was not going to do justice to the franchise that the fans had fallen in love with. It would be shifting it so far in a new direction.
I'm like, well, I have this thing I've been working on. What if we try to do this?
Eventually, this turns into a game based on his zombie idea. The old cop becomes a smuggler named Joel, who's tasked with escorting a girl that's immune.
I do think the old cop idea was a little bit better.
The virus named Ellie across the country to people that are working on a cure. Some of Neil's other pitches include Joel being a hardened criminal seeking redemption, a virus that only infects women.
And you found the one girl.
Do you see how stupid his ideas are, dude? So, it only infects women.
That it didn't infect, and that was Ellie. And the reason it failed is because it was a misogynistic idea.
Yeah, no shit.
A revenge plot where Joel's old partner Tess hunts him across the country, and a climactic scene where Ellie comes in and saves Joel from being murdered by Tess. The game's director, Bruce Straley, rejects the revenge elements. Quote, revenge just wasn't a strong enough motivation for someone to...
Yep, and this is why the second game sucks, is because the whole second game's about revenge. It's just Neil Druckmann always hated that he couldn't do his revenge story. And this is so important. This is so fucking important, and I feel like that this gets understated. If you look at what was thrown away because of Last of Us 1, he was very mad that he didn't get to do exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be the director. Once the other guy left, he was like, I'm gonna get my revenge storyline, and it was a terrible idea.
travel all the way across an apocalyptic country for an entire year. At the time, Neil agrees. I'm pretty dark. I wanted to kill Elena in Uncharted 2. Bruce is the one that would balance me and push for more levity. The partnership works. It's a delicate tug of war, but the end result is lightning in a bottle.
People are constantly critiquing each other, and that's the culture we try to cultivate here at Naughty Dog, because it helps make the game better, even if sometimes it can be frustrating and hurt your ego, but at the
Dude,
end...
look how annoyed that guy is, dude. Could you imagine working with fucking Neil Druckmann? The dude who's always like, I'm better, I am the one, the captain now. Druckmann, dude, it would be, dude, oh, I would leave too. I'd go to another studio because I know that I'm more talented.
The day it's all about the game.
The game launches in June 2013, and both critics and players are floored.
Making this the 4th game ever to earn my highest rating.
The gameplay is pretty similar to their Uncharted games.
It's like a movie. Actually, my involvement is nothing.
But the story is universally praised as a step forward for video games.
Sarah is dead.
Don't do this, baby.
The zombie win.
By the end of the game, players are empathizing so hard, to the point of it almost feeling traumatic.
Could you put your life on the line for me? Could you be the last of us?
And the ambiguous ending sparks countless debates online.
And so we don't want to come out and say, this is what we intend, or this is definitely the answer, because it is open.
Suddenly, Neil gets universally praised as a story.
So it does look like he has worked on stuff recently. Stanley has. He won something in 2019. The Vanguard Award. But works video games. He worked as a story consultant on a game called Chained Victoria Nightmare. 2017, Georgia. A puzzle game. So he's still working, but it doesn't look like he's working in a bigger capacity. I wonder what he's doing now. Like, I know Wikipedia didn't have a great breakdown of what he's doing. But I don't know. Wait, well, here we go. Here's an article about him. We got something. Former Naughty Dog developer says Sony is being extremely short-sighted by shutting down Concord. I mean, that is fair. Okay, I don't even need to read the article. I thought it was done by shutting down Firewalk Studios. They could have used them as a support studio. They could have changed and morphed the Concord developers and put them in a better, put them under a better direction, and they could have done something. Or at least had them as support for somebody, a team that actually knew what the fuck they were doing in terms of writing and storytelling, and just had them, because I heard the gameplay of Concord was good, and if you can do gameplay good, I mean, eventually you can find somebody who isn't dog shit at creating characters and stories to push them in the right direction.
Retelling genius.
It sticks in your mind even deeper on one level than a great work of literature or a cinematic masterpiece to some extent.
But their success comes with consequences. In 2014, right in the middle of production on Uncharted 4, Amy Hennig, one of the key creative forces behind Uncharted, leaves Naughty Dog under controversial circumstances.
It was very upsetting. Amy had been replaced. I don't know whether this is public knowledge or not, but that was not her choice. It was the company's choice.
At the same time, Neil gets promoted.
Dude, I feel like Neil pushed out anybody who ever disagreed with him. I really do. I don't know that you don't know the inner, but I think this guy's a malicious scumbag. I really do think he's a malicious scumbag, and he never liked that he got pushback. He came in, he was the young buck who had all the ideas, and he just pushed out anybody who dared to stand in his way.
Fill Amy's spot and reworks everything.
Is it tough for you to go into the set and work with Neil Druckmann, or
you just have to be professional and try and leave your opinions and resentments outside? Yeah.
The development crunch is so brutal that nearly 70% of designers quit after shipping due to creative burnout. Among them, Bruce Straley, Neil's creative partner and filter for his darker impulses, is gone. As Neil rises in the ranks, he grows more comfortable with confrontation. After getting some backlash for including LGBT content in The Last of Us DLC, he takes to Twitter. For each one of these bigoted and sad posts, I get thousands of positive ones from amazing fans. Some might say,
I don't hate the Last of Us DLC. I don't hate it. I don't think it's great. I think it's fine. I have no problem with the direction they took it. It wasn't, it was fine. I don't mind that Ellie was gay. I never did. I just hate The Last of Us 2. The Last of Us 2 is so bad. It's so bad.
Arguing on the internet is unprofessional, and it could leave you vulnerable to having your personal information stolen. That's why you should be using Surfshark, the sponsor of this video. It keeps it out today. By doing He's
if you want
promoted
Surfshark, go to his channel. It's Sir W, the most hated game dev, and you can get the Surfshark thing. But here we go.
By doing so, you're also helping me make more videos. While arguing with fans might take a toll on Neil, it doesn't affect his standing at Naughty Dog. In fact, in 2017, he's promoted to vice president of the company. Now he has full creative control and a fresh team of developers. It's time to get honest.
The writer's responsibility. You have no social responsibilities in your writing. The only thing you have a responsibility is to tell the truth.
Just in time to start working on their next big project.
Yep, The Last of Us 2, the most garbage game. The gameplay in Last of Us 2 is better. It's better than the first game. But, God, it's just such a bad story. It just does not flow well at all. It's just all over the place. It's so and its points are so ham-fisted up your asshole that it's just hard to... It's insufferable. This is an insufferable fucking game.
Last of Us Part 2. The whole world applauds. However, some fans remain skeptical. Did they even need to make a second game? Wasn't the ambiguous ending part of the point?
And so we would...
Yeah, dude, it would have been better to not even have the DLC, to not have any of it. It just end the game where it was at. It was perfect. It was perfect. I yelled in the mic way too loud there. I really did. I really screeched into the mic a little harder. I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit. It was perfect the way it was, guys. It did not need, Neil, it did not need all this other shit. But you had to make a sequel. You had to jump on the money. Now we remastered this in the sequel 80 times. Your studio does nothing anymore. I feel like that Intergalactic or whatever that game is going to be trash, dude. I don't like Neil Druckmann. Just anything that he's a part of, I really don't want to be a part of.
Come on and say it's, oh, this is what we intend, or this is definitely the answer, because it is open. I know there's a lot of people that feel this trepidation about revisiting what that ending means. No one loves these characters more than we do, and we would not do this if we didn't feel like we had the right idea.
Right off the bat, it's clear this is a Neil game. All of Neil's rejected ideas for the first game are back. The revenge plot, the switching between characters mechanic, and his idea to kill a main character from Uncharted 2. The extreme crunch is also back.
Yep, I told you. Like, what did I say? What did I say, dude? Neil Druckmann literally pushed out anybody who ever had the idea to give him pushback. If they gave him pushback, he was kicking them out of the company. He was strong-armed, he was being malicious, he was probably talking to the investors, he was talking to everybody he possibly could. Now, it's all speculation, supposedly in the underground sewers of Blowjob Land. This guy was being malicious as he could to get as many people to leave as possible so that he could take over the company.
Where are we on getting physics on these strands?
We are working on it.
So for next time? For next time?
Yes.
They released a story trailer and gameplay demo, and the hype train is now at full speed. The visuals are stunning. Every square inch of the world is drenched in detail.
Dude, they did the lips so well. Yeah, that actually looks really good. Wow.
God, this is so cringe. These watch parties. They did the lips so well. Dude, they're about... Dude, once that camera turns off, dude, they're going to be sucking each other's dicks.
Yeah, how's I'm tongue going in there? That's actually... seriously, that's really, really good attention to detail. And oh god.
Nevertheless, even with just breadcrumbs, the online debates are already heating up.
There started to be these rumors about the game, false narratives that the game has homophobic Christians, and that's who you fight. And then there's like a series of like YouTubers and websites that just run with this stuff.
Neil knows the creative choices aren't going to please everybody.
But I mean, they're not Christians, but they are religious people that are homophobic. That's the whole point of that faction. Is they're like alt-religious crazy people, whether they're Christians or Islamic or Jewish or whatever, or Buddhist, psycho, super religious cult people. They're so religious cult people. So, I mean, you could, like, whether you think that group is under Sharia law or under the mind of the Crusades, they're still a homophobic religious branch, and that's their purpose. I mean, I don't know which religion it's based off of, but like, get the fuck out of here. Like, oh, malicious rumors. Just, this is, God, he's so gross, dude. I hate him. He's so disingenuous. People like this is like Hassan Piker. This is Hassan Piker, the fucking developer. What a loser.
As long as no one inside spoils anything, he thinks the backlash will be manageable.
And I was able to dismiss it, and then the leaks happened. And then all of a sudden it's like a flood.
With only a couple months until the game's release, someone leaks the biggest spoiler in the game, Joel's death scene in full, plus the fact that you play as his killer for around half of the game. The YouTube video gets taken down at around 1,000 views, but that's enough. Neil braces for impact.
Just want to say on behalf of everyone at Naughty Dog, a lot of you have sent us very sweet, encouraging messages along that time that have been really helpful. We make this thing.
And that was the lowest point in my life.
If the leaks are true, this game can kiss my ass.
The destruction.
Exactly, bro. This is what I felt, dude. When I played, so I knew about the drama with I knew about some of the drama, and I heard stuff about The Last of Us 2, but I didn't have a PlayStation, so I didn't care. I just ignored all of it. And then later down the line, I didn't even know. I thought, so I jumped into Last of Us 2 at the point that everybody just boiled down the reason that people didn't like Last of Us 2 because they were homophobic, right? And I jumped into the game thinking, oh, it's probably gonna have some like gay stuff, who cares? I don't care. Like, in the gay stuff in Last of Us 2 isn't the problem with the game. Not even a little bit. Of course there's a lot of messaging and it's very virtue signaling, and that's what and I started to learn this thing about the internet, that whenever they do something controversial in a game or a show, they make sure to put in one of these like put in something from like other communities so that they can label it. They can put a shield in front of the game. Oh no, my writing's not dog shit. You're just homophobic. And that's what I started to realize with a lot of this type of stuff. But the problem with The Last of Us 2 is like they killed Joel so fast that you don't feel like you get closure. And that's the purpose. Is it's just supposed to be this like this lame, cringe, gay revenge story that isn't original, that doesn't have anything that's well written. I hate it. And Abby is such an insufferable character throughout the whole game that like not even her friends like her. Nobody likes Abby. She's insufferably, she fucking sucks, dude.
Of several characters that people are very attached to.
And like those voices jumped on Joel dying and the fact that you played Joel's killer. And then the fact that they said that like Joel's killer is transgender.
If you think that game could be spoiled by a couple screenshots, really?
No matter what you've seen?
Guys, I like Troy Baker is an incredibly talented voice actor, but God, does he... Dude, bro was like, I'm going... basically, bro will do anything for the bag. And say anything for the bag. He has shown that on many occasions. Now, do I fault him for this? Absolutely not. Do what you gotta do, pimp. But, like, whenever people are like, oh, did you hear what Troy Baker said about it? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. That dude will fucking say it. He would say his grandmother eats babies if it would get him an extra $20.
Heard
after you hear them, you're not going to want to pick up this game.
Or read, nothing compares to playing this thing from beginning to end.
Joke throughout production would say is like the downfall of Naughty Dog.
This is it.
This is the downfall. This game is the downfall of Naughty Dog.
What? The game releases in June 2020, and within hours of the game's release, hundreds of negative reviews start flooding the game's page.
Naughty Dog just went full The Last Jedi on this one.
Considering the game is supposed to be 20 to 30 hours long, the number of negative reviews raises some eyebrows. In response, some people even publish research articles dedicated to proving it's a
To be honest, a lot of people probably dipped after they killed Joel. I mean, like, if you want to talk about like an annoying part of the game, after Joel gets killed and then like you play for Ellie for another like 10 hours, right? You play for Ellie for like 10 hours. After that 10 hours, the game gets insufferably bad, and I wish I would have put the controller down when I started playing as Abby. It's just not a fun... The second half of the game sucks. It's really not fun. It's not enjoyable. It's not written well. It feels so disconnected from everything else that by the time you get back to Ellie, you just don't care.
Coordinated attack. Sony starts allegedly taking down hundreds of reviews.
Attacking gamers again, which, who's surprised? It's kind of funny that they'll delete the negative ones, right? But they won't delete the positive one.
This guy's really salty that the game didn't go the way he wanted it.
Metacritic also implements a 72-hour waiting period for future reviews. Attacks are coming at Neil from all sides, but rather than letting it pass over, Neil goes full offense.
And all I'll say is at the end of the day, to all our critics, we listen to that stuff and we digest a lot of it, but you're way less important. And some of you are not important at all when you're kind of shouting.
Yeah, because we'll just delete all your bad reviews. Well, and there's something else about this time period. They were copyright claiming channels talking about the leaks. They were attacking everyone and everything. It was vicious. This was the most vicious overswing of a company on YouTube ever.
Threatening and doing all that stuff, it's laughable. We send it to each other as jokes some of the time.
Look, I get it. You love these fictional characters, but they're not real. You do know that, right?
I like that he called himself doctor. That's how you know somebody's a douchebag. If they have to put doctor in their bio to make themselves feel better.
Guys, don't be scared of therapy. Think of it like working out for your brain.
What's with all these fucking assholes that that are like, oh, you're just crazy, you're just wrong, you need to get therapy. Like, what is there just are all therapists under the same mindset as you, that you instantly they're just gonna propagandize on me into being an acceptable human for fucking Mr. King Neil Druckmann? If I don't have the same opinions as Neil Cuckman, am I instantly, will therapy prove that I need to be under the same mindset? Are you the glorious, like, king of mankind? Get this gay shit out of here, bro. I hate people like this. No one person has the exact right opinion on everything. I don't. No, nobody does. You're gonna be wrong sometimes. You're gonna have shit that sucks. And the fact that, like, you can't take a little bit of an L and say, yeah, he wasn't gonna take an L on his game right there. But just in the fact that you think that everybody has to have the exact same value system and mindset as you, that you think that anybody that has any criticism is schizophrenic to the point that they believe these characters are real, you are gaslighting your audience, dude. This is gaslighting people who aren't sure about the drama into thinking that everybody who's talking about it's crazy, and this is gross.
But soon, bad reviews aren't the only thing on Neil's plate. Some of the more observant fans notice lies in the marketing, mainly that Joel is added in post to make it look like he's a bigger part of the game. They also make him look different.
I don't know why they would do that. Just have scenes in the trailer with Joel in them. That's not hard to do. They went out of their way to cut clips to make it look like Joel is involved in the scene.
Yep, it was the most malicious marketing campaign. It was gaslighting the people into buying the game. And then when he got criticism, he gaslight people into thinking that it was a bunch of schizophrenics that were like schizophrenic homophobes that were mad about the game, which is so disingenuous.
Fans call it false advertising, but Neil says he just didn't want to spoil the surprise.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of my favorite games. And I know some people hated it. I loved when I played Metal Gear Solid 2 and I saw those trailers. You were deceived, right? Because they moved boss battles around. You always saw Snake. They never showed you Raiden. And I remember like, oh, I'm playing a whole new character. This is awesome.
However, fans bring up an IGN article from 2018 that quotes Neil as saying Ellie will be the only playable character.
Yep, he was just lying. And then coping by using Metal Gear Solid 2. It's so bullshit. God, this guy sucks. Dude, he's such a little cockwagon, bro. Bro literally was just out there just saying whatever the fuck he wanted. And dude, this guy would go out, like, beat a bunch of homeless people to death, and then just say, I've never killed a single homeless person. What are you talking about? Those homeless people, actually were attacked by the psycho, schizo, racist, homeless people. Not by me, Mr. Neil Druckmann.
To make the situation worse, as the Game Awards approach, when The Last of Us Part 2 is nominated for Game of the Year.
By the way, Doom Eternal and Ghost of Tsushima are 10 times better than Last of Us. Oh, dude, in Final Fantasy VII, there's 3 games on this list 10 times better of Last of Us Part 2. Like, 3 games 10 times better.
Neil tweets, "The Last of Us fans, activate. For every vote you cast for The Last of Us Part 2, a hater loses their caps lock."
This wasn't a good tweet. First of all, it's a very...
I don't like this guy, by the way. He's annoying.
Passive-aggressive tweets, particularly with his emoji at the end.
He apologizes, saying it was all a misunderstanding. He doesn't want to come.
Dude, I like that he was throwing shade at like another Sony company too. Like his game, like Ghost of Tsushima is like 50 times better than Last of Us 2. Ghost of Tsushima is like the best samurai game ever made.
Across as someone who dislikes criticism.
My tweet was meant as a joke. RE trolls. Essentially, we're living in his head rent-free.
But none of his former fans buy it. Multiple YouTubers report receiving strikes from Neil over videos critical of the game or the leaks.
Not only did Naughty Dog strike down my YouTube channel along with so many others, they also are responsible for my Twitter account being taken down.
Come September 2022, Neil's ongoing battle with fans hasn't died down, and Naughty Dog hasn't announced any new games. Fans are getting impatient, but it gets worse. In 2022, they announced a $70 remake of The Last of Us Part 1.
It's really just a graphical overhaul. It is not a remake. This was a remaster. This is a remaster at best. It's so cringe when they call something like, dude, you know, what was it? Oblivion was perfect about it. It's a complete graphical overhaul. Like, the whole game's been put in a new engine. It's technically, like, if you want to go by the same logic that The Last of Us did, they could have called it a remake, but they called it a remaster because they really didn't change anything with the core mechanics. And The Last of Us didn't change anything with the core mechanics. They just put it under a new engine with a new coat of paint. And look at that. They call it a remake and charge $70 for it. No new mechanics, really nothing better. It's just the same fucking game with a little bit of more jizz, like jizz filter removed. They removed a little jizz filter, and then they came on in their own mouths to tell them they did a good job.
$80 for a remake of a $20 game that's already been remastered. Well, at least it's coming to PC. Hopefully the port is okay.
It's awful. It was the worst port of all time.
Oh boy. Players booted up, and it's well, after over an hour of waiting for it to build shaders, frame rate issues on the most high-end computers, textures not loading properly, and cutscenes where all the characters are wet. How does this one even work?
If you plan on buying The Last of Us 1 remake, you're an idiot.
You don't deserve to call yourself a gamer or ever play video games again. In fact, you don't even deserve to peek at a video game ever again. And quite frankly, I hope your hands cramp up.
After 2 years, this is it. Sales disappoint. Critics call it unnecessary, and the goodwill in Neil's haters all but evaporates.
Druckmann became an egomaniac after The Last of Us. And lost his...
I really do think that's what happened. I think The Last of Us, he was like, it was originally my idea. He didn't think about anybody else who was involved, and I think his ego kept getting blown up. And I think Sony saw that it was considered like the magnum opus of video games, and they just, everything he said became the gold standard, and they said, we don't care about anybody else. Neil's the guy. Neil's the guy we're putting everything behind, and they're willing to lose everyone else who built this company.
His sense of humility.
Fast forward a year, and things aren't looking much better. In terms of games, just remasters. But Neil feels good. He's been promoted to head of Naughty Dog, and HBO launches The Last of Us TV series. Before it's released, Neil
and he rewrites the script to make it more his style. It's so, and that's the problem with, if you are annoyed with the choppy and then writing of The Last of Us 2, The Last of Us TV show is the exact same writing. He took every good thing about the flow and the tension of the game, scrapped that shit entirely, and made it this fucking just, and then, and we're done.
Announces major changes to the story, with no input from Bruce Straley as far as anyone knows.
For example, the Bill sequence works very well in the game because you're fighting the infected.
The Bill sequence works because it was essential to the fucking plot. In the show, it's not essential to the plot. And this is something I did see people like, oh, they made Bill gay. Bill was always gay. That was like the point. He was always gay. And I don't mind seeing backstory for Bill and his lover, right? I have no problems with that. I have no problems if you want to add him in. Just scrap some of your other bullshit dialogue and make the episode where you show the backstory and then show like Bill in the aftermath. Show this broken man who can't move on. Like, show that his lover like ran away, and he like show the stuff that happened in the game. And you could have built on that, right? You could have built on that instead of just making it a filler episode where they're like, oh well, I knew this guy at one time named Bill, and his garage might have a battery. Any garage can have a battery. Like, at that point, if you just stumble on if they would have stumbled upon like this old decrepit survivalist house and found a battery, they're like, well, that was pretty lucky. Like, he is unnecessary to the plot in The Last of Us show, and that's my problem. Not the gay romance stuff. I don't care about that. It doesn't bother me at all. It's all about the fact that it doesn't work well in the story.
With Bill, I think if we had adapted that exactly as is for the show, maybe a thrilling episode, but dramatically would have been a lot less interesting than where we.
Yeah, and that's all that matters is if I can get some fucking loser clicks on snaps, like I'm at a fucking Smash poetry gathering. That means I've done a good show. All the thrilling, all the fun stuff of the Last of Us game, that you barely see the monsters, you barely see anything. There's no tension. It feels like this strode across the entire country. Like, it ruined the game. I don't like the Last of Us show. I mean, I had a bunch of friends that were fans of the game that really liked the show, and I kept waiting for it to get good, and it just kept annoying me because there's no fucking tension.
Which we changed it quite a bit.
Like, why did they need to make what's-her-face make out with the zombie? It was so stupid. It was actually the most retarded thing I'd ever seen, is a zombie making out with her. Like, it's dumb. It's retarded. Like, that's the type of writing that Neil's like, ooh, dude, wouldn't it be cool if I had the zombie make out with the chick before she blew up the building? Oh, the other guy would have been like, no, that makes no fucking sense. Why would the zombie make out with her? No. But it's like cool because it's like a scene. I don't care. That doesn't make sense. It's illogical.
His ex-fans are primed to hate it, but in the end, it's actually pretty good. In fact,
no, it's trash. It's bad. It's poorly written. It's nonsensical. I don't care what people say. Oh, it's pretty good. It had moments of good. And all those moments were the stuff that from the game that really worked. And I think the casting was off from the beginning. I think Pedro Pascal was okay. Bella was never good in the role. I just don't think she's that good of an actress. Like, getting away from like people making fun of how she looks and how she doesn't look much like the character. Let's get away from that. I don't think she's a good actress. I really don't. And a lot of the times when she was talking, it just pulled me out of the moment. And it would be different if she was a kid actor, but she's not. So they could have gotten somebody more established, and I think it could have gone better. I don't know. I just didn't like her in the role.
HBO says it's one of their most popular shows that year. Neil becomes somewhat of a mainstream celebrity. New fans start pouring in, game sales spike, and he finally feels like he has some people on his side. Until season 2.
Bro, that's amazing. Dude gets what he deserves.
It turns out fans of the show who haven't played the games have no idea what's in store.
Gonna kill him with a golf club?
Guys, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to do right now.
I didn't think it was gonna happen this soon.
And after Joel's big moment, public opinion shifts. IGN gives the episode their lowest rating in history.
The result is a competent, often thrilling hour of television, but one that ultimately underserves the larger story and the characters it forever changes.
Viewership starts to fall off. And the season finale...
This is exactly the problem with the game as well. Dude, nobody wanted... Killing Joel was the dumbest writing move possible that early in the story. It's fucking retarded, and he should have gone about it a different direction. He should, if he was gonna do it, he should have like done like 5 episodes of building Abby up, because like you have to like to make people understand why Abby is the way she is. And then the second half of that, like, because I guess they were gonna do a 3rd season, but now it's canceled. You could have broke the second game into 2 seasons. Have it be a story about Abby. Don't have Ellie or any of them in there. And then the 3rd season starts with Ellie and Joel. Right? Just have like a whole different thing, like this buildup of a new character, every once in a while touching in with Joel and Ellie, but like have it be about these other characters, and you could have gotten away with it.
He sees a 55% drop from the first season.
You have to expect that some people would just switch off after that, and people have switched off in their droves. But not only that.
In December 2024, fans finally get a brief glimpse of something new. This time Neil has an executive producer role. But that doesn't make it void of controversy.
Bro, I saw that Intergalactic, the heretic prophet, literally had more dislikes than Concord.
Actress for Naughty Dog's upcoming game Intergalactic, Heretic Prophet mocked gamers by sharing pro-DEI fan art. These are games that definitely are anti-gamer. These companies hate you. They have to be boycotted.
Now, I don't care about, like, I saw a lot of people like, oh, DEI and all that. I don't care about that. I really don't care about that. The part that really annoys me with anything is because Neil Druckmann's ahead of it, and I don't think he's a talented writer. He is. You can be talented in creating great ideas. You can be a great in coming up with like imaginative stories and stuff. But if you don't understand what's necessary to take you from point A to point B, and you've proven that like on 3 different occasions now, I don't want to play your game. It's going to be fucking all over the place, and I just don't want to put myself through that. I really don't. I mean, I might for the video, but even then I don't like going into any game that I already have made preconceived notions about. I don't like doing that. It's like when people think that I go into a game, even the games that I hate on my channel, it's like the ones that I absolutely poo-poo on. I go into every game with an open mind, trying to like it. Even Last of Us 2, I didn't know much about it. I thought it was just a bunch of people being annoyed because of gay stuff, and when I played it, the writing's just bad, right? The writing's just bad, so why the hell would I give it a good rating? This game, now that I've played Last of Us 2 and watched the first season of The Last of Us, which is way worse written than the game, why would I play a game written by somebody who I've already seen 2 things done by them that are poorly written? It just doesn't seem fun to me.
Neil says not to worry, that this next game is going to deal with
I do think she looks cool, though. I really like her aesthetic. That is something in the trailer I disagreed with everybody. I think she has a cool aesthetic, and I think she's pretty. Oh, she's bald. Who cares? She's pretty.
Plus controversial subject matter.
Oh, we made a game with The Last of Us 2. We made certain creative decisions. That got us a lot of hate. So the joke is like, you know what? Let's do something that people won't care as much about. Let's make a game about faith and religion.
Whether it's any good or not, we've yet to
Oh, God.
But it's clear Neil's not taking his foot off the brake anytime soon.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think this is gonna be trash. It might be good. I don't want to be the guy that just hates on something because just to hate on it. And I really don't like being that guy. I feel like it puts you in a bad mindset. I just don't like him. I really don't like Neil Druckmann. I think he's one of the most insufferable people of all time. But anyways, that's all I got for that one, guys. Neil Druckmann is Cuckman, and I don't like him. But I'll catch you on the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe.